Be seated, maintain order.
All right, we're back on the State of Florida versus Ashley McArthur. Defendant is present with counsel. Assistant State Attorney is present, Mr. John Barasset.
Judge, if I could have one more second on this issue where you overruled me. We've got a little more information. My understanding is that Mr. Britt is going to testify that this conversation took place, or this act took place on October 13th, 2017. So our objection is, one, it's not relevant. It's after the date of the alleged murder that the state is claiming is alleged murder. The prejudicial effect outweighs any probative value. It is a act or crime that they're trying to put in with no prior. We did not have notice of this, and we don't know how this can go to motive if it's after they're claiming the alleged murder took place.
Judge, there has been now testimony from her own husband that in March of 2017, he had some money, $43,000, that Ms. McArthur had her hands on, and he has no idea where it went. Now there's evidence that Taylor Wright had money that's missing, and there's not really any idea at this point where it went. And now, after the fact, the money is gone, and she's still trying to get money. So it does, under the totality of these circumstances, show the motive of this case, which is money.
I've made my argument, Judge. I will just kind of let the court know that, if the court stays with the same ruling, then I probably need to approach the bench at that point, and once the jury hears it, ask for a mistrial to preserve our objection.
I'm listening.
That's
I'm
all.
communicating.
I understand.
All right, I think now that I have information that it's the time period, I had the impression the time period was about the time of the disappearance. If it occurred October 19th or 13th, mid-October, but I think the state is operating, the indictment says a time period about September 7th or 8th or 9th, that time period. I will sustain your objection and will not allow the testimony. Okay. Where is our witness?
Oh, he's outside.
Okay. And you can go ahead and, you can bring a jury in. Yeah, let's do two things at once. Mr. Britt, I'm just going to tell you that we have a lot of ground to cover in this case, and that's why I'm really saying, just even though she's asking you direct questions, try to keep them short, and if she wants more, she'll ask more. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
We just got a long way to go.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Okay? Thank you.
There is in the box, Your Honor.
Okay, everyone may have a seat. For the record, defendant is present with counsel. Assistant State Attorney is present. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you what to expect for the remainder of the day. We're going to try to push to 5:30. If at some point we can do a quick comfort break, even though there's 15 of you, if at some point somebody needs a comfort break, just give me an alert, and we'll just send you back until everybody's ready to come back. We won't take a 15 or 20-minute break, okay? Ms. Jensen, first of all, sir, state your name again.
Kyle Britt.
You're still under oath. You may proceed.
Okay. Mr. Britt, did you screenshot some text messages between you and Ashley McArthur from September 8th and September 9th of 2017?
Yes, ma'am, I probably did.
Okay, well, look to your right. It states exhibit number 13. Just look through that and see if you recognize.
Yes, ma'am. I recognize it.
Okay. And are those text messages with you and Ashley McArthur on September 8th and September 9th of 2017?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And were those screenshotted from your cell phone?
Yes, ma'am.
And are they date stamped September 8th and September 9th?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Judge, this time I would move them into evidence.
All right,
No objection.
I received as states 13. I think it's A through G.
A through G, yes, ma'am. Now, on these text messages, are Ashley's responses in the red on the left side?
Correct.
Okay, and then your responses are in the blue on the right side?
Correct.
Okay. And on page C, is that where you're talking about this funeral that you were at that day?
Correct.
Okay. And then on September 9th, if you'll look at page F, is that the conversation when Ashley showed up early and texted you and you were surprised?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then if you look at page G, is that when Ashley is talking about going to a wedding?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. On October 19th of 2017, you said you were home when the police came out and searched the property.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did they end up taking some, like, bags of grout or something you had in the house?
Yes, ma'am. They ended up taking, I believe, 2 bags. One was a bag of drywall mix, and the other was a bag of joint compound for doing grout work and stuff for the shower that we were doing.
Okay, and what was that? Why did you have those materials there?
Because we were renovating a bathroom, and we were putting up tile and stuff on the walls as well as in the shower.
Okay, and is the texture of those bags, is it smooth or rocky?
Smooth.
I think you said earlier that Ashley normally drove a black Jeep?
Correct.
Okay, do you know if there was a GPS on it?
Yes.
Okay, and how do you personally know that?
When me and Ashley were driving around, she made a comment stating that I think Zach is tracking me, and that's how I found out about that. And I asked her, well, do you mean to look for it on your Jeep? And she said, sure. So I didn't have anything else better to do when we were hanging out, so that's what I did, is I looked around and ended up finding it. I found it.
Okay, did you leave it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you, sir.
All right. Mr. John Barosset's going to ask you questions. And if they're just yes, thank you. If they're just yes or no, please answer yes or no. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Britt.
Good afternoon.
It sounds like from your testimony, you indicated that prior to coming to live in the Cantonment area, you didn't know Ashley McArthur that well. Is that
I did
correct?
not. Yes, sir.
All right. And then it sounds like you said you came here and you hung out with her on some Saturday to watch the Bama FSU football game at her house, correct?
Correct.
And I think your testimony was we really didn't start texting until after that. Or
Well, we were texting before that because that's how we met up for the game.
okay. But then did the texting kind of die down, or did y'all continuing to text each other?
It picked up.
I'm sorry?
I said it picked up.
After y'all hung out for the game?
Yes.
Okay. But you didn't see her that often? Is that what you said?
Before the game, prior to, no.
Okay, what about after the game?
It was about a week, and then after that, it picked up dramatically.
Okay, it picked up dramatically. How much from September 1st, 2017 through October 17th or 18th, 2017, how much time did you spend with Ashley?
Pretty much it was almost every night or every other night we would meet up at 6.
When you moved here, you didn't have many friends, correct?
I have a lot of friends, just not in Pensacola.
Fair. In this area, you didn't have many friends, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And Mrs. McArthur did her best to include or invite you to do things, correct?
Correct.
Did you and Mrs. McArthur text on pretty much a daily basis after the FSU Bama game?
Yes, she would contact me.
So there was nothing unusual about her texting you?
It was very frequently, and she would also call several times during the day too. But at the same time, I didn't mind it because I didn't have anything else going on.
let's talk about the morning, September 9th, 2017, that Saturday morning. You indicated that Ashley McArthur came out to the farm you were living on, correct?
Correct.
And the reason that you knew she was out there is because she told you she was out there, correct?
She texted, yes.
Yeah, and indicated to you. Were you still asleep?
No, I was awake at that time.
Okay. You testified on direct examination that you thought it was 7 a.m., correct?
I was up at 7 a.m.
Okay, what time did Ashley McArthur get there?
I didn't get a text until 7:30.
Until about 7:30?
I got the text. I don't know if she was there beforehand or not.
What exhibit number is that?
13.
Can I approach the clerk? Yeah, 13. Mrs. McArthur and her daughter kept a horse out at the Britt family farm, correct?
Correct.
I think the horse's name is Hickory.
Yes, sir.
All right. And other people keep horses out at the farm as well, correct? At that time.
At that time, it was just my aunt.
Just your aunt had a horse?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Okay. Have y'all had other horses out there in the past?
In years prior, yes, sir.
Okay. And do they pay a fee to keep horses out there?
Yes, sir. From what I'm aware of, they have a bordering fee that they do pay.
And horse owners are obligated to take care of their own horses, correct?
Yes, sir. The only thing that...
Sir?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes, no.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I mean, you don't take care of other people's horses, correct?
No, sir.
You saw her on that morning after she let you know that she was out there, correct? You actually physically saw her on the morning of September 9th.
Yes, sir.
She texted you to let you know she was out there, and you, I guess, got dressed or already dressed, and you came out and saw her, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I think y'all went over and checked on her horse, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you just testified that you've been spending some time with Ashley McArthur. You know, you've been to watch the game with her. I mean, it's fair to say that her demeanor that morning, she was like normal old Ashley, correct?
I didn't really know Ashley, so yes, I would say.
Well, I don't... You just told us about all the time y'all spent together. Hold a second. You just talked about all the time y'all spent together, all the texting you did, correct? Yes? No?
The game was the first time really me and Ashley had a one-on-one together.
Well,
Prior to that, it was maybe once or twice in the prior year.
When the state was asking you questions, so now you're saying you don't really know her, right? Is that what your testimony is now?
No, I'm keeping with what I said earlier, is that
Do you know Ashley McArthur or not, how she normally acts?
I didn't know Ashley for that long, so I couldn't tell you how she normally acts because I didn't know her for that long a time.
Well, then why on direct examination are you giving all these, well, she normally does this, she would normally do that, when the state asks you questions?
From what I had known and what people had said,
Okay, so from everything you knew, when you saw her on the morning, September 9th, out there at the farm, you didn't pick up on anything unusual with Ashley McArthur, however much you knew her, correct?
correct.
She didn't seem panicked, correct?
Not that
She didn't seem scared, correct?
it was over 2 years ago. I couldn't.
Sir,
Yes,
answer
yes,
or
no, yes, sir.
I don't know.
I
Yes,
don't.
no,
I don't know because it was 2 years ago.
That night, y'all went out together, correct?
Correct.
That was the night where y'all had, it sounds like, the drunken, fun night of a bunch of people going out, correct?
Yes, sir.
And was it that night that maybe you first met Patrick Smith?
Yes, sir.
And Patrick Smith is a friend or acquaintance of Ashley McArthur?
Correct.
And you inquired about needing some help to do work around the 23-acre farm, correct?
Correct.
There was things you didn't like to do, correct?
Correct.
All right. So after September 9th, 2017, that Saturday, after September 9th, 2017, you told us that Patrick Smith came out to the Britt family farm to do some work, correct?
Correct.
And he came out there, I believe your testimony was Ashley McArthur brought him out there, correct?
He drove Ashley out there, yes.
And because you and Ashley McArthur had plans to go do something, correct?
Correct.
And as far as you know, Patrick Smith had never been out there before.
Correct.
And when Mr. Smith came out there, you, as living on the property, gave him directions of, Mr. Smith, here's what I want you to do or not do, etc., correct?
Correct.
You directed him.
Correct.
And once he came out there and you kind of gave Patrick Smith directions or what you would like him to do, you and Ashley McArthur left together, correct?
Correct.
So I assume you drove.
Yes, sir.
And y'all left Patrick Smith alone at the Britt family farm.
Yes, sir.
And that wasn't the only time that Mr. Smith came out to the property, was it? To do work.
I believe he came one more time after that.
Okay. And that would have been, do you know what time frame that second visit would have been?
It would probably have been after 2 weeks, because that's when the weeds would start of growing around the fence lines.
Okay. So there was a visit after 9/9, and then approximately 2 weeks later, there was a subsequent visit by Patrick Smith.
Correct.
And did that time he come out there by himself?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
And again, did you have to direct him what to do, or did he already know what to do from the first visit?
He already knew what to do.
You testified that you know Audrey Potts, correct?
Correct.
Met her through Ashley McArthur.
Correct.
Sounds like y'all met at watching the Bama FSU game, maybe?
Correct.
And after September 9th, 2017, that Saturday morning, you indicated that you saw Ashley McArthur and Audrey Potts come out to the farm, correct?
Correct.
And what were they doing? Looking at the Miss McArthur's horse, looking at the horses?
That's what I assume they're there for, yes, sir.
Okay, and you talked to them?
Yes, sir, for a short bit, then I had to leave for school.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir, for a short time.
Okay. And again, there was nothing unusual about Ashley McArthur's demeanor or anything like that, correct?
Yes, sir.
And your mom is Kara Britt,
Correct.
lives over in somewhere near, in
In
between Gainesville and Jacksonville?
In Jackson, yes, sir.
Okay.
Middlebrook, Florida.
And your mom would come over to the farm every now and then once you moved in, correct?
We were starting at the wedding venue, so she'd come in town. So we were starting at the wedding venue, so she would come in town for that.
Okay, and the purpose for her to come in town would be, you said you're starting up a wedding venue. Maybe incorrectly, but I'm assuming you have to get the place looking nice.
No, I had that covered. She
Okay.
came in town to help handle pretty much when we had guests and stuff over as far as selling the venue.
Okay, so a bride would come out to the property and your mom would show the individuals around the property to
Yes, sir. We
see how
both
beautiful it
would.
was.
Yes, sir.
And
We
you should
both
have
would.
your wedding here, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, your mom did do some physical labor on the property at times, correct? I mean, she would pitch in.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are aware now, sitting here, you are aware that there was the body of Taylor Wright was found right off y'all's property line on October 19, 2017, correct?
Yes.
And you're aware of the location where that body was found on y'all's property or right off y'all's property line, correct?
Yes.
It's kind of right on the other side of a fence, correct?
It's on the other side of a ditch line, yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
I said it's on the other side of a ditch line,
Okay,
on the
there's
other
like-
side of the fence.
Okay, there's a fence and a ditch line? Or
Yes,
is it
sir.
a ditch line and a fence?
No, it's fence, ditch line, woods.
Okay. And that's kind of behind or the side of the barn area? Is that
Correct.
correct? Okay. And in mid-October 2017, I believe October 15th or 16th, your mom came over from Jacksonville to the farm in Cantonment, the Britt family farm, correct?
Correct.
And the two of y'all did some work on the farm that day, correct?
Correct.
And That work included cutting tree limbs on the, or at least some of the fence line of the property, correct?
Yes, sir. The fence line in the front of the property.
You did see your mom doing some work over in the area of where the body was found, correct?
I do not remember that.
Okay.
That was 2 years ago.
Okay.
I also had school whenever she was in town too. So.
I'm sorry.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Sorry.
I couldn't hear what you said, but
He was talking about school.
okay. Did you see your mom over in that area working?
I don't remember.
Okay. You remember her working in other areas, correct?
Correct.
But you can't remember if she worked in the area where the body was found.
Yes, sir.
When you were out there with your mom working, it's fair to say y'all would go in the barn, correct?
Yes, sir.
Of course, go in the residence, correct?
Yes, sir.
Go around the property, correct?
Yes, sir.
When you guys were out there, you and your mom were out there on that October 15th or 16th, well, let me back up. Do you know anybody else that cut tree limbs on y'all's property other than you and your mom? I mean, did you tell Patrick Smith to cut tree limbs?
No, sir.
Okay, so do you have any knowledge of anybody else cutting tree limbs on y'all's property?
I don't have any knowledge of people cutting tree limbs, but there
Okay.
was people that did help clean up out there.
Okay, not asked about clear up. I'm just asking, did you
But if they
direct?
pick up tree limbs, that could be a part of, because,
All right.
yes, ma'am. Sorry.
I don't think this is difficult. I think you're making it difficult. Mr. Barossett will follow up if he wants more information. He's asking you a narrow question.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
And we can sit here for another 2 hours still muddling through the same testimony, or you can just listen to his questions, and then I have every confidence that Mr. Barossett or Ms. Jensen will get the clarification they think they need. But if they don't ask it, they don't need it.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Barossett, try again.
Okay. You did not ask anybody else to cut tree limbs
No, sir.
on your property? Okay. You mentioned the residence on the farm. Is it kind of a mobile home?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you mentioned that there was some, I guess, renovation or some sort of
Yes, sir.
construction going inside the home?
Yes, sir.
It sounded like that renovation had to do in the bathroom area of the home. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Was there other areas in the home?
Yes, sir.
What other areas were y'all renovating?
The guest bedroom and the master bedroom and hallway.
All right, so pretty much the whole thing was being renovated?
Yes, sir.
When did you first move into the farm, the Britt family farm, approximately?
I'm going to say around August 18th.
August 18th of 2017?
Yes, sir.
And that's an approximate, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. After moving in, you went to, I believe it was Home Depot, and you bought some potting soil, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 50-pound bags?
I would say around that. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you used some of it, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what happened to the rest of it? Did it go missing?
Yes, sir.
And it went missing pretty much soon after you moved in and had bought it, correct? Because one of the first things you did is bought this potting soil.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And within a couple days, it was missing?
Couple weeks.
A couple weeks?
Yes, sir.
Would that still been in August 2017?
Yes, sir, I believe.
You have lived at the Britt family farm clearly since September 8, 2017, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you lived out there all through the rest of September and through October of 2017, correct?
Correct.
And as you mentioned, you and your mom are trying to, or were trying to set this up as a wedding venue, correct?
Correct.
And your mom testified earlier about trying to keep the property meticulous, right?
Correct.
Okay, and that was your goal too, want it to look good. I mean, certainly,
Yes, sir.
no one's going to have a wedding in a place that doesn't look good or well kept, right?
Yes, sir.
And to do that, you go around and you care for the property, correct?
Yes, sir.
You check the property out, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after September 8th and September 9th, 2017, you never saw any evidence, for example, of something heavy being drug on the property, correct?
No, sir.
You never saw any indications of blood anywhere, did you?
No, sir.
You never saw any evidence near that fence line of any concrete being mixed up or anything, correct?
No, sir.
With the only concrete type substance, cement type substance been mixed up inside the house?
Correct.
What do you call that?
Durarock. I think that's what the name
What's
of
it called?
I think it's called Durarock.
Okay. But other than that, living on that property all the time, nothing like we talked about, blood, drag marks, anything that stood out on that property when y'all were looking it over.
No, sir.
May I have one moment? Just to stay with my line of questionings. No, you didn't find any empty cement bags just hidden or thrown around anywhere, correct?
No, sir.
No empty or potting or lawn soil bags hidden or thrown anywhere?
No, sir.
And the area, going back to, you know where the body was found, correct?
Yes, sir.
We established that. You could see that area from the residence, correct?
Yes, sir.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Did Ashley McArthur ever ask you to pick up some concrete for your home renovations?
No, ma'am.
Did you ask her to pick up some potting soil to replace your missing bag?
No, ma'am.
Were you looking for drag marks out on your property?
No, ma'am.
Were you looking for blood out on your property?
No, ma'am.
Did you know that anything had happened out there until the
No,
body was
ma'am.
found?
No, ma'am, I did not.
And this fence line, did you pay attention to that fence line?
No, ma'am.
Why?
Because it's on the back side of the barn. The way our property is laid out, the pretty side of our property does not face that area. It's to the back of you when you're on the porch. Or
Were you
from your
out
angle.
there, I'm sorry, you were out there when law enforcement was searching on the October 19th.
correct.
How long were those individuals out there that day before they found the body?
7 or 8 hours.
Thank you.
All right, is he free?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you're completely released. You can leave the courthouse and you can
Can I sit in the audience?
sit, but don't react.
Yes, ma'am.
And don't discuss your testimony.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, call your next witness.
Andrew Smith.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth? If so, say I do.
I did.
Have a seat. Pull up to the microphone or microphones. That's the main one. And state your name and spell your last name, please.
Andrew Smith, Smith.
All right, you may inquire. I believe, whose hand, is this Mr. Barry Barasa? Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You already stated your name for the record? Okay, sorry, I was turned around. Mr. Smith, where are you employed?
I'm currently employed with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement,
Where were you employed before the Florida Department of Law Enforcement?
the Escambia County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, and what did you do for the sheriff's office?
My primary role was to do computer forensics.
How long did you do that?
With the Sheriff's Office, approximately 2 years, and then I've done it for the past year and a half, so 3.5 years total.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors the education and training you have?
Sure, so I have a bachelor's in information systems from the University of West Florida. I'm currently working on a master's in cybersecurity. And then I'm also a certified forensic computer examiner with the International Association of Computer Investigative Specialists.
Now, as part of your previous duties with the Escambia County Sheriff's Office, Did you download or extract phone information, cell phone content?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And how did you do that?
So typically, it uses a software program and cables to connect to a phone, and it extracts the data forensically.
Okay. And is there a program?
Yes, there's multiple programs. The primary one I used at the time was Celebrate.
Okay. And back in 2017, what training and experience did you have with Celebrate?
I've been to multiple classes associated with Celebrate, and also I'm a Celebrate certified mobile examiner.
Okay. And when the program downloads cell phone content, does it produce a report?
Yes, ma'am, it can.
And do you change or alter that information in any way?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay. And what typically does the report from a cell phone contain?
So it's going to contain various amounts of data. It just depends on the type of phone. Generally, it provides obviously your cell phone number, and then text messages, pictures, videos, just various data that's stored on the phone.
Okay. Did you produce a report, a Celebrate report, for a cell phone number 850-712-2299?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. And did the Celebrate program download a report?
That's correct. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Let me ask you this. Would it be fair to say that not everything in the report is going to be relevant to a case?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
Okay. And does the first page of the Celebrate report contain identifying information for the cell phone?
Yes, ma'am, it's a summary page.
You're ready, Ms. Jensen. I'll stop talking. We'll be back on the record.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
I'm going to show you. Okay. Then, Judge, at this time I would move in State's Exhibit number 14.
All right, it's received to State 14.
Now, did you go through this report itself, or did you just turn it over to someone else?
I turned it over to the investigator.
Okay, and do you know who the investigator was?
At the time, it was Investigator Knotts.
Okay. Is that Megan Knotts?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay. And do you know if the Pensacola Police Department was initially involved in this investigation?
Yes, ma'am, they were.
Okay, and are you familiar with Detective Ghigliotty?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, thank you. Those are all my questions.
All right.
No questions.
Okay. Is he free?
Yes, ma'am.
Completely free, Mr. Barry Burrows?
Yes, Your Honor.
You are free. Don't
Thank you.
discuss your testimony. All right, Ms. Jensen.
State calls Detective Ghigliotty.
All right. All right, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth? If so, say I do.
I do.
Have a seat. Pull up to the microphone, state your name, and spell your last name.
Richard Ghigliotty, Ghigliotty.
Remain quiet.
Mr. Ghigliotti, where are you employed?
Pensacola Police Department.
And what do you do for the Pensacola Police Department?
I'm an investigator with our Criminal Investigations Division.
How long have you been in law enforcement?
Approximately 4.5 years.
Let me direct your attention to September of 2017. Were you assigned to investigate the whereabouts of Taylor Wright?
I was.
And on what date specifically were you assigned?
I was assigned the case on September 15th, 2017.
Okay. And had there been two missing persons reports by Cassandra Waller?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the dates?
Yes, ma'am. September 10th of 17, and then again on September 14th.
Okay. And when you were assigned,
Pull up to the microphone and speak up just a little more.
Sure.
I'm getting some nods from the jury. They're not hearing you, so
Okay.
make sure they do.
when you were assigned on September 15th, did you review those reports?
I did.
All right. And then after you reviewed those reports, what was your next step?
I contacted the involved parties,
Okay.
the reporting person, Cassandra Waller, and spoke with her. She indicated that the last person,
Well, let me stop you about what she said. First step is you contact Cassandra Waller, correct?
yes,
Okay. And then who else do you contact?
Ashley McArthur.
All right. And when did you first speak with Ashley McArthur?
On September 15th, 2017.
Okay. And was that in person or over the phone?
It's on the phone.
How did you get her cell phone number?
Cassandra Waller gave it to me.
Okay. When you spoke with Ms. McArthur on September 15th, did you ask her about Taylor?
I did.
Okay, and what did she say?
She indicated that they were friends and that she had last seen her on September 8th, 2017.
Okay, what did she say that they had done that day, if anything?
Sure. She went through a series of events. She began by picking up Taylor at her residence on Berkeley Drive, 725 Berkeley Drive. The two then went to, I believe it was Ms. McArthur's office on Pace Boulevard. At some point went to Ashley McArthur's residence on Raintree, then back to Berkeley, then out to Beulah. And then she stated that she left Beulah Road, went down 9 Mile Road, got on the interstate, and went to Scenic Highway. From there, northbound to some house, and then that Taylor was looking into, and then to a farm in Milton,
Okay.
East Milton.
And when you said that Ms. McArthur told you they went to Beulah, did she say where they went in Beulah?
She, at that time, indicated that they went up Beulah Road. There was a house that Taylor was doing PI work on, and that she turned on 9 Mile Road and hit the interstate to Scenic.
Did she mention on September 15th, 2017, being out at the Britt Road property?
No. No, ma'am.
Was your conversation with Ms. McArthur on September 15th recorded?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
At that time, it was simply a missing person report, and it was believed that she may have just left on her own accord.
Okay. After September 15th, did you make contact with Ashley McArthur again?
I did.
Okay, and was this on the phone or in person?
I was in person.
And where did this contact take place?
Sure. First time was on the afternoon of the 18th at Ashley McArthur's residence.
Okay. Do you see Ashley McArthur in the courtroom today?
I do.
If you could just point to her and identify what she's wearing.
Yes, she's sitting at the defense table wearing a black top.
Okay. Now, when you went to her house on September 18th, was this just kind of an informal, casual conversation?
Very much so, yes.
Okay. Was the conversation recorded?
It was.
Okay, and have you reviewed that before your testimony today?
I have.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 15. Do you recognize that exhibit?
Yes, ma'am.
Are your initials on there?
They are?
And did you review it before your testimony today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a fair and accurate recording of your conversation with Ms. McArthur at her home on September 18th, 2017?
Yes, it is.
Judge, at this time, I would move States 15 into evidence.
Okay.
Received as States 15.
Judge, and I would like to publish it, but I'm letting the court know it's approximately 38 minutes.
We're going to go to about 5:30, so that should work. Folks, this is about 38, 39 minutes. Think about all those times we've got some video to cover the next couple of days, okay? All those times you might have thought about streaming something, watching it on the sofa. Relax and take a deep breath over there, okay? If you need to stand at any point, do so, all right? As soon as you get it up, I'll do the lights. Oh, it's just audio? Okay. So I'm going to need y'all to raise your hands if you can't hear. Or if at any point you can't hear, just raise your hand. I'll know what that means.
is with you?
About 50 G. Detective Chad Wilhite.
Okay.
How are you?
How are you?
Detective Ghigliotty. This is Detective
I was in clothes on really quick. I just showed up.
I broke my ankle on the passenger door, so nothing else. We got that from this trip.
Broke your ankle?
I'm pretty sure. It hurts. I closed the door with my foot still in the car.
That's awesome.
My body was outside of the car. It didn't feel good. So, yeah.
Don't know if this workman's comp. Said we workman's comp fraud, and I don't want to go get into that.
Yeah? You do it for the department?
Hey man, we do whatever's best for the police department, so I tell them.
I'm with you.
I'm gonna have to find a way out here, because I get turned around in this neighborhood every single time.
I got you.
Just a little first.
I'm over here the other day.
Hi, how are you? I'm Detective Wilhite.
Ashley, nice to
Nice to
see
meet
you.
you.
Ghigliotty. So I spoke to you earlier about coming over and talking to you and maybe see if you let us take a look around.
Oh, sure.
Is this your husband?
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
Yes, sir, how are you? Detective Wilhite.
I'm ready. I used to be better.
Yeah, somebody would tell us. I'm trying to think if I can put a name with a face.
Is that McArthur?
So yeah, that's where we're at. We just got to cover bases. We got bosses to ask us questions, and we got to be able to give them answers. Obviously, at this point, we don't really know much, so we got to follow the steps.
Gotcha.
Do you have cats?
No.
Maybe it's from
Probably from the other place.
Saunders' house. It was cats. Well, you know, so my son was down.
Do you want to show us? Do you mind showing us around? Oh, you're all right. We're not fighting roaches off of us. I mean, that's a good thing. It's a good day.
So what's the deal?
So, right now we have an individual that was reported missing. Yeah. At this point, from what I understand, she was last seen here, and we just got to make sure. She's here.
You're welcome to learn.
How often do y'all hang out?
I saw her lately more than he did. We used to stop talking to her completely after she came here. One day, Taylor, it's been about a month ago, she called, I was in Orange Beach. She's like, I've done something bad, but I talked to you. Okay, you know, what is it? You can't do that, you know, what's wrong?
Your version of bad, my version of bad. Right. Okay.
Right, and I'm like, I'm thinking, you know, what is the big deal? It can't be that. It just goes on and on. In fact, I had a friend of mine, last name was and she's like, just hurry.
Okay, I want to check in with y'all. The only thing I know that we can do, perhaps to make it louder, is to put the microphone, try to reconfigure, except that's taped, to get a microphone near that speaker. A couple of y'all are really leaning forward, and I'm trying to make sure everybody can hear. I didn't want to shout over the speaking, so I'm giving hand signals to Miss Jensen over here. She's checking to see if the volume can go up anymore, I think. And are y'all okay?
And really, on that,
That's great.
I shouldn't have this to you, And so she's like, I'm at your house, just come here. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'm coming as fast as I can. We actually, you know, so we were eating when she started all this, and I'm like, I'm on my way, but we're in Gulf Shores, so we're coming. So when I get here, she's on the couch, and at this point, Cass had already arrived, and I fascinating. She songs, about her drug problem and this girl and OFC and whatever else. And I'm thinking, this is how she do it. But now I'm like an intermediary, just sitting between all this going on here. I'm like, and then I told him that she had, admitted to the cocaine and stuff like that. And he's like, I told you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
So that night they had a big sit down and put all the business out.
And it was supposed to be getting better. I mean, she told us that she'd only done cocaine the 3 times. The only thing I ever noticed is we took her to an Alabama game last year, and she had a bag, and she just kept it like super close. Like it was almost like over the top, like holding on to, We were in Walmart, and I think I said something to you. It was just like, I'm like, what is the deal, because you could just tell that she's just, it's not like there was a kid in it or anything that you gotta watch, and she just looks like all with just a small little bag,
Sure. And the last day that you spent with her, did she seem like she was acting any different than normal?
Not really. She was upset about this court case that she had going on and really thought that her ex-husband was going to try to put her back in jail. He thought he was trying to ruin her career, put her back in jail, because she blames him for her not being caught anymore.
Why would she blame him?
Because
It was a DD thing, and I guess she didn't hit him, and he said she did, and so she went for a night and stayed in Santa Rosa, went to court, and I guess it.
I think she ended up getting out of it though.
Yeah, it was dropped.
Yeah, it was dropped, but.
Was she trying to get back into law enforcement
Yeah,
again?
you guys, she went a long ways for you guys, within the last 6 months.
Well, there's different stories.
Yeah.
I just found out about this from Cass. In fact, just last week, Taylor told me that she applied with y'all, everything went through, and then she talked to somebody, I guess that's in the hiring process, and they said, yeah, we don't understand why you didn't get put in this class or whatever, this group that they just hired. And I was like, what happened? Do you know? And she's like, no, they said that, they just didn't know. Well, after all this happened, I was talking to Cass, and she's like, well, she failed the polygraph. And I was like, she told me that everything was fine. She didn't understand why she had gotten through, everything or whatever. But I know she tried it, Niceville? Well, she told me like 2 weeks ago her father had just died. And goes through this whole spill about how she's going to South Florida for a couple of days. He is. I just found that out though. But she goes through this whole...
Have you spoken to him?
Her father? No. I didn't really even know that he existed because it's hard to keep up with her. Like, I don't know who's like real family, who's not. I think at some point she was in foster care and there's maybe a real mom, but I don't know if she's still alive, and there's a foster mom, and I think that's her real dad that is supposed to be in South Florida. But she tells me that he's passed away. She's going to South Florida because his new wife won't tell her why he died or how he died or any of this. I mean, this is like a half-hour conversation about what's going on with her dad, and that she's just so distraught because she doesn't know what eventually happened to him and all this stuff. And then come to find out he's not dead. He's alive in South Florida.
Did you ever bring that to her attention? Like, hey, what?
I didn't find out he wasn't dead until after the fact.
I got you.
And so, but she told me then that she was going, and I guess for a couple of days I didn't talk to her. She told me she went to South Florida. I don't know if she ever went to South Florida.
At some point, I remember her telling me she went down there and he was on his deathbed.
Right.
And she had to do that, but.
I think there's some pictures on Facebook of her
Right,
and
it
him
was.
together.
Right. And then he just never died, and then, or something.
I don't know how
She just runs the same line, and she'll just.
It's hard to tell what is.
And that's kind of why
It's not.
it's so difficult to find a place to start with this, because there's so many people who were possibly in relationships who maybe weren't, or
We've
and there's
heard.
men and women. I don't understand. It's difficult to find a
Got
start.
multiple
It
things
really
going.
is, and it is a nightmare, and it's boggling my head because I don't even know what to, like things that she's said to me that I believe to be true. back to talk to Cash, she said that the husband Jeff thought that it had been a problem for
Back when they
years
were dating or together?
So she used it when she was a police officer up in
Yeah.
North Carolina or wherever she's from.
That's what he's saying. And
Why did she stop working there?
I think they moved.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a bad, it wasn't on bad
There is
terms.
one issue with the bad terms, and the lady you have to talk to verify, I think her name is Barb.
She like the turn off airs lady up there.
No, she's supposedly Taylor's really good friend of like 10 to 15 years. She lives there and has known her for a long time. She's in law enforcement herself. When Taylor, I guess, went on maternity leave or took some leave for something that occurred, sorry. I guess they came to her and asked her for a recommendation when she came back, and then she said she had some sort of questionable issues on not letting her return. So I don't actually know if she went back after that or if she went back and then had to leave when they were transferred down here. Because I think that they did move down here because of his service.
Now, what is he doing? The Army, Navy? Do you know what branch?
Air Force.
You know what he does in the Air Force by chance?
I think he's,
He's an officer.
So he makes good money. She ain't doing whatever he does.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that she depended on him, is what she said. I mean, he makes good money and he's, I guess, pretty high up in whatever he does or whatever.
Has he reached out to you or?
I haven't spoken with him, but I know that Cass has.
Yeah, we spoke with her. What's your feel on this? What do you?
I think she's probably just off acting like a nut. I mean, at first I was really worried about her, and I got really mad at her about it, you know, but I think she's probably just playing people, because that's like, after hearing all this, all this is a game to
She fired
her.
out somebody.
And it's hard to figure out who, because like, I didn't
That
know
motherfucker too.
that anybody existed in Biloxi until that day. Like, I had never heard those names before. And she had spoken to me like about people she was dating during that time, and I didn't know anything.
They don't want y'all paying their phone. They don't want y'all paying their phone.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah, there's certain criteria as to that.
Yeah, we do it a little easier. Yeah.
We got policy to follow, and you've been there.
We just didn't like,
I don't know. It's really too much. I'm really shocked because a lot of the stuff I've heard, I'm like, you know what is going on? This is not, I don't know this person. Like I said, that lady Barb, she knows about whatever happened with the law enforcement up there, and has told Kat, and I just know this from Kat, has told Cass that she has struggled with this kind of thing with Taylor before. In fact, she told Taylor when she was just up there and saw them, because her husband had just had a leg amputated or something and went to visit them. She told them that she was moving in with Cass and her husband. Well, this is supposed to be her best friend of like 10 years. I guess she didn't want her to know that she's a lesbian at this point, maybe. I don't know. But Cass is building a house, and Taylor's moving into the house with Cass. The story is that Taylor's moving in, or building a house, and that Cass and her husband are going to live there. And Cass does have a roommate named Chris. He's also gay, but they're not married. And so I'm like, why would she say that? Because obviously, if this girl, they're good friends, she probably knows what goes on with her or whatever. But then that's the story. I mean, nothing makes sense. She lies when there's no need to even, I don't know. I'm lost. But that lady knows a lot about her, I guess. But and Taylor has talked about her. She's, they're really good friends. And when this accident happened or whatever, she was ready to go up there and help them out or whatever, but
would you mind showing me around? We can check it off the list and say, well, she's not here.
She's always got firearms.
Yeah, that's what I guess that's what I'm hearing.
and I don't know, she told me that she's like a black belt and all kinds of mess and
Yeah.
firearms everywhere or whatever.
Does your dog bite?
They do not.
Okay, that's a good thing.
They're super
What
friendly.
about the pig? Is it the big bite?
He might, but
Uh-oh.
you can run away from him. No, come on, you should think good.
You're good. Where's this farm at exactly?
We're on Highway 90 in Milton, just across from Jones Road.
Okay. What all animals are out there?
There's pigs, horses, donkeys, sheep.
Who feeds them?
My aunt.
So she just comes down every so often and just kind of feeds them?
Yeah. It actually used to be a farm that my dad owned, and then my uncle bought half of it, and we ended up selling it to him. But they got like 20 horses out there and 20 donkeys.
How many pigs are out there?
3 potbellies, I think, and 1 big drum.
Okay. Is there any other farms or land that you're aware of or go to visit, anything like that?
My other aunt has one north end of the county, and we go out there a lot.
When was the last time you were out there?
Probably last week he picked up a 4-wheeler out there and sold it.
Do you know the address for that one?
I don't know if I can get it for you.
Yeah, would you mind getting that? We just have to exhaust all these at this point because I'm not sure if you're aware, but like the media got a hold of it.
Oh, I know.
The thing is that they don't know everything that we know, and our intentions are to tell them.
Oh, I know.
So they spin this as, someone who may have been kidnapped. And I'm not saying that that's impossible, right? Nothing's impossible. But if we were to not follow up on something, and God forbid, it turns out that that is the fact, and it's learned years down the road, you can imagine how that would go. So we're not in the business.
You don't know what she's capable of, or who the people she's around are capable of.
Sure.
I mean, that's the only thing that the drug thing worries me is because then you don't know what kind of individuals are that you're dealing with.
What? So, from what I understand, the day that y'all went to go get the money, was it in a safe deposit box or was it here?
I had it in a safe.
In a safe. Here.
Well, I had it in a safe in my house, and I brought it here.
Okay.
And she had checks and stuff with her. And she was gonna try to, I guess, cash some of the checks I gave, but she decided not to. She was also gonna track down a ring that she had. She decided not to do that. And I think that was in part of the stuff that I took back to Cass's house. She was really just wishy-washy about what she was doing. I don't know that she knew what she wanted to do with the situation in the court, or she was trying to buy money from Jeff, I guess. I don't know.
Did it kind of put you in an awkward, uncomfortable spot, her asking to, leave the money with you?
Everything. Like, she would always call, can I leave this here, can I leave this here, or do this, and I mean, she doesn't give her word on much or whatever, but it was bad for me because they were not getting along, or he was trying to, keep a distance, and then I'm trying to help her and do what I can, and it just, there's always something with her. But I just thought it was when she was kind of just what she's going on, dealing with all this. Not the fact that it was this pattern that she's been going through for years and years.
When she loaned, or not loaned you the money, but when she lets you borrow the money, did she ever, attach anything, hey, if you need to borrow some or use some out of that, you can? Or did she specifically say, hey, don't you?
She didn't say either. I just left it as it was. She cashed a
of things I've learned that she does, I'm going to be honest with you. So,
It's really, and I don't know why she was doing it. Because I thought that all of this was kind of set until that she was, but,
had y'all been arguing or anything like that?
I mean,
You
the
know,
day before, I was cooking dinner in Twin Peaks, and we had just gone to, she had taken me to Mama's for her birthday back in August. Taylor had an argument. I never knew anything to argue with her about, because everything she always told me seemed okay and made sense. Before this happened, she did say that it's okay. She did put me in a bad spot a couple of times that day that we went to Twin Peaks. We're sitting there and Kat says, "Oh, y'all went to, how was it when y'all went to Destin?" And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, when Cass gets up and goes to the, I knew Taylor had gone to Destin all day. And Cass goes to the bathroom. I'm like, Taylor, why did you tell her I went with you? I was working that day. And she's like, oh, I forgot. I thought she would just feel better if she knew I was with you. And I'm like, well, first of all, I don't get it, but if you're going to do that, you let me know so I don't look like an idiot when I'm sitting there and Cass is like, hey, did you go to Destin? And I'm, what? There's no reason for her to tell her. So I don't know if it was somebody that she was meeting that. If she'd asked me to go to Destin with her, I, could have rearranged my schedule and gone, but here I'm sitting there and Cass is like, oh, I like it. What are you supposed to do?
Do you know if she and Cass were arguing recently?
The only arguments they had, they had that big deal here. And Cass, agreed to try to help her, and they were going to stay together. Cass seems like a very calm, collected, stable individual. I don't know if they were arguing. I do know that Taylor had gone back to Biloxi. She said for a case. The only thing I think that Cass got upset with her about is Taylor had contacted one of the parties that was involved in all of that. Cass said, let this die or whatever, and I think Taylor made this long text about threatening her job or something, they shouldn't leave her alone and all this mess. I think that upset Cass. But from my knowledge, they were still trying to work it out.
Has she ever said anything to you about what her intentions were with the money? Where she's taking it? It may come up later. We may end up seeing if you'd like to come down to the department and give us just like a formal statement.
I'll do whatever I can to help. I don't feel like she needs help. And she's probably...
And that's something that's come up is, is she suicidal? Is she using narcotics to where she could potentially OD?
Right.
Is she perfectly fine and doesn't want to be bothered? And but the thing is,
I don't think that.
She's fine.
I don't think she's perfectly fine and doesn't want to be bothered. She's either had some sort of mental break and is not thinking, too much drugs, or something. You know what I mean? I guess she could technically be fine in doing all of this on her own accord, but in any case, it's crazy what she is doing.
Minor, your opinion crazy, but
Right, but maybe not to her.
Yeah,
and she is doing what she wants to do, but it's...
a lot of the things that's come across it may be crazy to a lot of people.
Right, yeah.
Following and watching her husband had a child exchange.
Yeah.
That some people consider that crazy.
Right. Yeah, but she would fully intended to do that. It was like proud of herself. I mean, she's calling me when she's like, this is the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
And so I kind of, there's part of me that thinks, okay, she's watching all of this go on and thinking this is hilarious. Because she thought that was hilarious. And I'm thinking, this makes no sense. She's getting him out.
Yeah.
You know, you're supposed to. Listen.
Fair enough. Yeah. So, yeah, if you want to show me around so I can check it off. Nice desk, by the way.
Thank you.
When did y'all put this up?
We just had put it up probably back in April, I guess. Yeah, put it up.
The day out in the farm, who all went with y'all?
Just you know.
Okay. All right. Looks like a garage.
And I can show you downstairs. Yeah.
Mind if I look in here real quick? Sure.
But when she left, she said, we got to have a beer. And she'd been drinking all day since that morning. They was in church. Actually, a friend started. Well, he went to Texas to shoot, and he shot 2 birds with 1 bullet. Just happened, got lucky. Actually, not that lucky. We have 1 stuck in getting that stuff. But he had to fly them back on the plane. He had to carry them frozen in a duffel bag through customs. He's like, yes, it's them birds, yes, it's the, or, you know, for TSA or whatever. I'm sure they're like, these
I'm sure.
rednecks.
I'm sure that was a comfortable flight.
Maybe federal that quit taking people, we're gonna trust.
I'm not going anywhere, Chad. Stand with you, buddy. No more dogs, right?
No more off, no more off. We're in,
That's a big house. From what I understand, y'all let Cass borrow a gun. You don't, and I know this is like an awkward question, but you don't think like she would be capable of shooting anyone, do you? And I know that's like awkward. And,
no, I think she asked me to borrow it, but I think she was just scared because Taylor carries guns. I mean, Taylor's never been afraid to tell you that she would shoot somebody or any of the above. And like I said, she tells everybody about all the SWAT training she had and all this and how tough she is or whatever. And I think Cass was just worried because of knowing that Taylor carries weapons all the time.
did she think that Taylor was going to come back and try to harm her?
I think that's what she was afraid of.
Why?
That I don't know.
I mean, like from what I understand, Taylor would be the one that had done all the wrong, so.
I don't know. I think a lot of it had to do with Taylor's ex-husband and what he was telling Cass, because he's telling Cass to immediately change her locks, to put bells or something on her windows, and because I think he and Taylor had physical altercations.
Sure. So he's like speaking from experience, hey, be careful, she can get crazy. And
I think it really started worrying Cass, yeah. Because she's like, you know, what do I do? You know, I mean, do I change my locks? Do I bells on windows? She's like, what what in the world?
But in your opinion, you don't think that there was any credible threat?
No, I don't see Taylor hurting Cass. I don't see why she would have a reason to.
That's my question. I would see more of a reason for Cass to hurt Taylor just because of the infidelity and stuff.
Right. But
unless there's more that we don't know.
Right. But then again, Taylor is so erratic, you don't know what she thinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't predict crazy. So, but I can see where Cass would be frightened.
Yeah.
Just based on what Jeff's telling her, you know, because he's saying that yes, they've got into it, and they did have that domestic violence thing, but I don't really know what went on with that, but apparently it was a wash.
Well, yeah, whatever the outcome is, if nothing
Came of
went
it.
on.
But I think everything Cass was learning about who the real Taylor was scaring her. But everything I've ever seen from Cass, she's just a stable, kind of go steady individual that just, I don't think she's used to all this crazy in her life.
No, I don't think so. I got that kind of vibe from her earlier that she
Yeah.
was super uncomfortable and everything that's going on. But
This is that.
this is, yeah, where I was trying to get.
Yeah.
That's just, I guess, in front of your house?
Yes.
The bathroom one day?
That is going to be a shower and then the body over there.
All right. This is your room? Okay. Yeah.
The only thing that sticks out in my mind that happened since she came clean about that stuff was one day I was working, she asked me to watch her son while he was here.
When was this?
Early August.
So maybe a month.
Yeah, and Cass knows about this because I ended up having to drop him off to Cass. She calls me and asks me if I will watch him. But the business that we have, like I go into bars every day because we have pool tables and video games and stuff and jukeboxes and like bars and restaurants and things. And I have to go around with my collector and we'll, check on machines and collect money. She asked me, she said she had a case. Could I watch Drake? Well, when she's on a case, usually she's just sitting in her car or whatever. And I can, but, I've got to work.
Yeah.
And
Safer sitting in the car than going in the bars.
that's the thing. So I had to get a friend of mine to come ride with me so that Drake could ride around in a car with me all day. And so they're sitting in a car because I'm going in and out of these locations. He can't go into the bars with me.
Sure.
And so they're sitting in a car and she's watching him. And she said, I guess he got him she brought him at like 7 in the morning. She said she was supposed to be done at 2. Well, at 6:45, I took him to Cass. And she kept telling us that she was just around the corner, just around the corner, just around the corner. And then showed up for like an hour and a half later. In retrospect, I'm thinking maybe she went to Biloxi and that's why she didn't want Drake with her. But none of it made sense after the fact because I'm thinking like, he's going to be in a car, riding around in a car with me. Why?
Yeah. You're just sitting in a house. Do you know what kind of investigation she did?
She mostly insurance, I think.
Recently, is that what she was working on?
She told Cass she was doing some security detail stuff. I think she said she'd gone to New York to do some of that. But for the most part, all I knew her to do was like insurance fraud cases and, people that were, watching them go to doctor's appointments and how they were walking and stuff like that.
Okay. Fair enough.
But I didn't think that was great, which is why did you extra to watch him.
Yeah.
She was like twice. One time she was on her. Just for reference.
I told her we made because of circumstances, take me down to the department of people with it, that she was on. Is that convenient for you? If you want to run down and knock it out?
Got your card over there?
Yeah.
You also killed Jimmy Hoffa for all I care.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
That's where he's at. It's all fine.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Everywhere, well, actually everywhere, a large portion of what we call youth plan. Very likely also God knows where, pretty much on our will, and then you got some folks that are like distant relatives or family that are like, this isn't her, so. When we're getting like so many mixed, we got the arrow inside the phone. Yeah, you know, he's been there. I mean, Dr. Ray, something turns up and something did happen to her, and we're just like,
I'm good now, because it's about dinner time. Hurry up.
She said she wants to get ready when she gets back.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Hope you hurry up and recover from
We'll see you in a second.
You know where the police department is at?
Actually, we go on the phone. I got to take a ball from it.
And we'll pull it through the front parking lot this time. We didn't do that last time.
Still hot.
At the end of that recording, it sounds like you were all leaving to go to the Pensacola Police Department.
Yes.
Okay. And when you got to the Pensacola Police Department, where did you go specifically?
We went to an interview room.
And does the interview room have audio and video recording?
They do.
Okay. And what's the sound quality? Well, back then, what was the sound quality?
Could have been better.
Okay. In any event, was your conversation with Miss McArthur at the police department recorded on September 18th?
Yes,
And have you reviewed it before your testimony today?
I have.
Quick comfort break. We need to talk through a few things. Just leave your notepads, pencils. We shouldn't be too long, okay? Thank you. Okay, everybody in the audience and whatever can have a seat. You can have a seat. We need to talk about this. Now, I must have asked this question about 4 or 5 times. How long is it going to take to try this case? And I was assured by y'all, experienced people, that if we started on Monday, we wouldn't have a problem. And like Ms. Jensen just said off the record at the bench, she's concerned. I'm looking at this list and I'm concerned. Because let me tell you, we've got 3 things happening. I think it's 3 things. We have Labor Day weekend. And we have a promise that was made to the jury to be done on Friday and not getting it to them at 6 o'clock Friday night, which, by the way, y'all will be protesting because you'll say they're tired. And number 3, we have a tropical storm / hurricane, which yesterday they were saying, I won't say who, I mean, it's just predicting weather. You can't predict weather completely. If it goes over Hispaniola, it's going to break up, probably won't be a problem. And so, of course, I'm getting texts about the latest projected path going north of Hispaniola and going across the state, and by Sunday, possibly being in the Gulf. And if you don't think they're paying attention to that, they are. I just haven't brought it up. So, Mr. Barry Barassa, when you said, can we quit because at 5, blah, 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 I don't think we can afford to quit. What I would propose is that, Ms. Jensen, if there is any logical break point, that if we could play 30 minutes, or if, I know ideally you would want to play 2 hours and 44 minutes consecutively, but we're going to have to take a break anyway because they can't go that long without I'm not suggesting play all of it tonight. I'm just saying let's play 45 minutes of it tonight and get that under our belt. But I am worried because we have about 5 hours standing right now left of video audio testimony. That's 5 hours. That's nearly a day of court time. Plus, we've got cell phone, Dr. Minyard, I don't know what else is moving around. That's just the state's case before we ask y'all if y'all want to present a case. So I am concerned. That's my reason for applying pressure to keep going. Now, Ms. Jensen, before I hear from the defense side, can we do something like we play about 30 or 45 minutes tonight and I just tell them it's going to be a long video, it'd have to break up anyway, let's get some of it under our belt tonight?
Yes, Judge, I'm not the one who asked to leave early. I'm just letting you know I have a concern about where we are. When we were trying to figure out how long we thought this trial would take, both Barassas assured me that they weren't very lengthy on cross-examination. I can't predict that. All I can do is put my evidence in to the best of my ability. I can't predict what questions they're going to ask and how long they're going to go. So,
I don't have any problem, Bill. I was just concerned we're going to play the whole tape or something.
No, we wouldn't do that. But we do need to have this talk because, like I said, I'm looking at the list that I'm aware of, and then y'all make your own decisions strategy-wise on what you're doing on the defense side. But we have, and I don't want to spend 30 minutes talking about 5 hours, so I'm not, but we have right now 5 hours of, I've counted it up, of video/audio evidence. In a typical day, I can get about 6 hours and 15 to 6:30 to a jury in the course of a day from 8:30 to 5:30. And it looks like we got a lot of other things to cover besides just listening to the stuff that's said. I'm sure cross-examination of this witness, for example. And that means going into Thursday, and then I'm wondering when we would get to the defense's case if they choose to put one on. So I am concerned also, Ms. Jensen.
We anticipate putting those on Thursday afternoon, probably.
Well, that only works if, I am concerned at how long it's taken us to get this far. I will say that. And all I'm going to say is we made a commitment to the jury, and it is not advantageous to either party to have a tired jury, but I cannot have a hurricane coming Labor Day weekend on top of us and not keep our commitment to the jury.
I understand.
Okay. So what I'm going to propose is that we play about 45 minutes tonight. I'm going to tell them tomorrow to be prepared to go to 6 or ask them if they'd be gracious enough to be willing to do that. Maybe we do a lunch at 12:30 or 12:45. And we just see if we start getting some wind behind our sails and we get ahead of things, then we can take the pressure off a little bit. Okay?
Judge, and I will say, I think after Detective Ghigliotty and all of these recordings, I feel like the witnesses after that, of course, again, I can only predict my presentation of the witnesses, but I feel like they're relatively quick, subject to cross, of course.
I looked at them. They've got a good attitude. They're smiling at us. They're giving it their full attention. I think it's I need cooperation on all sides here. You have to defend the case. You have to present the case. But we have till Friday. And I really don't want it to be that we're doing closings at 5 o'clock on Friday night. And I don't think they're going to appreciate that either, but I think there's an added pressure of this storm, which is very uncertain. And I haven't talked about hurricane preparedness with them because I don't want to stress them out any further. But I think every time if we look at it again tomorrow and they're still showing it coming kind of in our direction, that is going to start being on their mind. So just keep that out there. Let's bring them in if they're ready, and let's do what we can do today. Okay? All right. And if you're not going to ask him any more questions today, he can sit up there or he can not sit up there. Other than introducing it, I guess.
Well, I don't know if he's going to be asked questions about the interview itself, so he may want to hear it.
Okay, just sit tight.
I would assume we'll do that after you're done presenting all the evidence.
No, she just saying so he can hear it again.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Did I already move this one?
I'm not-
States 16.
Did she move 6?
16.
Okay, so we'll do that right away.
That's the one. No. For the record, we object to the exhibit that we filed a motion on.
We haven't gotten
We had a hearing, so that's not up yet.
Okay,
Okay.
so do you have an objection to 16, which is September 18th, 2017?
I wish I did, but no.
Okay.
All right, then we'll just. All right, thank you. For the record, defendant is present with counsel, assistant state attorney is present. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what the plan is. Ms. Jensen's, I think she's already moved number 16 into evidence.
Without objection from the defense.
Right, and that was while you were out. We did that business, so it's received as number 16. This is a recorded interview. Remember when I talked about how much you like just kind of listening and watching things for a long period of time? When you're at your house, I need you to imagine you're at your house. You're in favorite comfortable chair. Try not to take off your shoes, folks, but this is 2 hours and 44 minutes. Now, before you panic, don't look at the clock. What we're going to do is we're going to do about 45 minutes today, and then you're going home. I'm going to talk to you quickly. You're going to go home. But we got a lot tomorrow that's going to be the same kind of thing. So we're just going to take breaks and stand, and you just have to imagine you're in that comfortable place at home. All right? With that, Ms. Jensen. Is everybody good until about 5:35? And then I'll talk to you quickly and get you out of here? Okay, well, that's our goal.
Shut the door and you feel more comfortable with it open.
Mr. Ryder, can I get your name?
Ashley McArthur.
What's your middle name?
Britt, B-R-I-T-T.
Date of birth?
8/22/77.
All right. Let's start with your relationship to Caleb. Okay. And y'all met how long ago?
About a year ago.
How often did y'all hang out?
Probably once a week, twice a week. It would kind of go in spurts depending on what she was doing. When we first met her, it was probably August or September last year. She would kind of come and go because she lived in Destin at the time. And it wasn't until she moved over here that I would see her more because she would stop by the house and different things. But like I said, you know, researching how they were dating and different things. And she had, at the time that I met her, she was living with Jessica Liz that works at the sheriff's office.
In Destin?
No, here. But she retained a residence in Destin, but she lived here.
In Destin?
Yeah.
Who was the residence with in Destin?
I think the girl's name was Rainey. She had a roommate, and to my knowledge it was somewhere around like just a side street, somewhere near AJ from Destin. We never, Zach may have, because I think he helped her move a bed or something down there, but I never went to that house down in Destin.
Do you know if it was a house or apartment?
That I don't know.
And was she dating Rainey, or?
I don't think so. I think they were just roommates.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's what's been so difficult. One of the things is
It's hard to.
she's with us, she's partially in a relationship, but it's also kind of sort of in another relationship. So we're trying to, pin all these down. Who, if suppose she were to have ran off, who do you think she would have gone to?
I mean, really, after everything came out with the situation with Biloxi and all that, my understanding was that she had had kind of a long-term relationship with this girl in Biloxi. Ginger, yes. But like I said, the first day that I ever heard the name Ginger was that day that they were at the house and then all of this comes out. But supposedly she had been with Ginger for quite some time before that. I knew her to date guys that were in Destin right before she was with Cass, so I don't know.
Do you recall any guys' names or?
No, I mean, she told me, but she showed me pictures and whatever else. I mean, they were like big, like military guys that I felt like were similar to, it's probably not, like her husband, or ex-husband, because that's the type that she always said that she liked. So it was kind of confusing because sometimes she would tell us that she was going to date guys, and then the next thing you know, she'd be with a girl. So we kind of didn't know, where she was at any given point. But like I said, I was surprised when the stuff came out with Ginger because she had never even mentioned her name to me at all.
Mm-hmm.
And she had talked about people she dated. It wasn't odd for her to tell me about people she had dated. Even women, because like I said, I knew about Jess. I mean, Zach worked with Jess. It's Bruce Wood's daughter from the UK. He was the captain of the sheriff's office. He was there forever. And Zach and Jess are friends, so it wasn't like she was trying to hide the girl side of that from us. I mean, we knew about her, and then she would tell us, she told us about the guys that she was with. I think one of her trips to Vegas, she went with a guy.
Did she frequent Vegas?
She's told me she's been there 3 times this year.
More time than then. It's frequent enough.
And I couldn't tell you the order, but she posted on Facebook at least a couple of those trips for her being there. I know she was at the SHOT Show.
What's that?
It's even better explain that. Sorry. Come on, y'all.
We're stuck here all the time.
It's the new, all the new weapons, ammunition, guns, knives, all that stuff that comes out. It's the trade show in Vegas or whatever, and I know that she was there, I thought on business purposes.
Did you sell that kind of stuff too?
She had some sort of like tactical company, I don't really know. I know that she had been going to a lot of gun shows. A lot of gun shows, and I don't know what she was selling there. I never went and visited her or anything when she was there, but that's what she had been into lately, and she was going to a bunch of those. And I think that SHOT Show is like an invitation only. You have to either have like some kind of dealer's license or something to go to it. But she did say that she had gone to that. And I don't know what the other two trips to Vegas were for, but for sure she told me that she had gone to that.
Okay. And so, the last couple of weeks, can you kind of describe what y'all's interactions have been like?
I'm mostly helping her. Like, the Friday before I met her, she said, I have a couple boxes, can you help me move from the house that she had in Cantonment, that she was renting a room from?
For suburban house in Cantonment?
Okay, maybe not Cantonment, my mom Rose, I call it Cantonment. Do you know about that one? Okay. Ambra Epley?
Yeah,
That's the person who's gonna live there?
Mm-hmm.
that's who she was living with?
Mm-hmm.
First name and name's going to have her last name?
I don't know how it's spelled, but it's Epley. So I don't know if it's E-P-P-E-L-Y or
Is Amber?
Ambra.
Ambra.
My understanding is she works for Department of Corrections.
She white or black?
She's like big heavy set woman.
Or were they dating?
No, but she's a lesbian and she has a wife. And so Taylor was like living at their house.
Okay. And then how long she was living?
That's where, when she moved from Destin, where she moved to. So, maybe April, May, she moved there?
A few months.
Yeah. So she moved in there. And she called me and she's like, hey, you know, can you help me with a couple boxes? Hey, can I call right back? Yep. Alright, thanks, bye. She's like, hey, can you help me with a couple boxes? Well, I'm like, well, which truck do you need me to bring? Because I was going to bring one of those trucks from my office, and we have like a pickup truck and a box truck. Then she starts telling me what she needs, and I'm like, I'll just bring the box truck. Well, we ended up filling up the entire box truck.
Not a couple boxes.
Not a couple boxes, and it took all day long. And to the point that, like, I left the truck there for, well, even after all this happened, the truck was still there because she had not done at Cass's house.
Over on Berkeley?
Yeah. Because she hadn't finished with everything. And I was like, I'm going to kind of need it back because it's from the house. I have to use it. You know, we move equipment, pull cables and stuff with the truck. But those couple boxes turned into a lot of stuff. Yeah. Literally, it's not a small box truck either. I mean, it was full to the brim. And in fact, we couldn't even get everything because she has a storage unit with them. Ambra. They share a storage unit. And we couldn't get everything out of that storage unit.
Storage unit?
It's behind battery source on my mind.
You ever just name into that?
Maya's probably Ambra's.
Okay. So you were there, I know this is tough, but you call the like locker number or where it was at in relation to pulling in?
When you come in, you go to the right, kind of wind your way to the back. I have no clue really, but it's on the far, if you're facing the set of storage units or whatever, it's on the far right side, which would be the east side, and maybe 1 or 2 rows from the end.
Okay. And there was, how much stuff of hers did y'all leave?
Well, a lot. We could only get, I mean, that unit was a relatively large unit. I mean, it probably had a full-size garage door in the front, and it was full to the front. And so we got a washing machine. We had to leave the dryer. It wouldn't fit in the truck. We got what boxes we could get out of there. But then, like, she's climbing over stuff to get to other boxes, but the way that it was situated, we couldn't get to anything else. We couldn't fit anything else either, but...
What did a washing machine look like?
It's over.
Like a new one, or?
Oh, it was a newer model, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was like a computer type thing on it or whatever.
Okay. What else did y'all do? So y'all went back and where did that?
We went back, this ended up taking all day, and went back to her house, and I was going somewhere. And finally I was like, look, just park the truck here, work on it. I'm done. I didn't sign up to be a mover. I was coming to help with a couple boxes and bring the guys from the office, but...
Okay. And then what was y'all's next interaction after that?
I actually saw her. Well, we went to brunch for Cass's birthday. Sunday. Maybe the 2nd? No, so it's probably the 3rd of September, maybe? We went to Jargo's for brunch.
Okay.
It was Cass's birthday, and Taylor had arranged for everybody to meet down there. And she came by my house to change, because it was kind of the Ghigliotty where I brunch or whatever.
So y'all had brunch and then did y'all hang out afterwards?
We did.
And when did y'all get together after that?
It's hard to say because she would just stop by the house, you know. I think I helped her with a couple more things of moving. Picking up boxes and stuff. She came to my office because she was going to put some stuff there.
Did she end up storing some stuff at your office?
She got some stuff, and then everything that was left in the truck, we took to my office. So all her junk is at my office.
Do you have a warehouse, or is
Yeah.
the office a warehouse?
It's the same, one of the same. Like
Okay.
the front part is offices.
No, you're good. Use it. Take something.
People, I mean, if I wasn't busy, they would text me.
Did you frequently communicate with Taylor on that phone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How many phones does Taylor have?
I only knew her to have one.
No, you're good. If you need to handle something, we're
No,
good.
it's fine.
I mean, I get calls obviously, and text, and only something.
Well, I have my business phone transferred to my phone so I can take calls at night for service and stuff like that. So, I only knew her to have one phone until that Friday I saw a different phone. And the only reason I saw it is because, or noticed it, because it had the exact same case that her other phone did. But she had one plugged in and I saw her on the other one.
another number to that other phone? Or what kind of phone was it?
Whatever kind of phone she had. I think it was an iPhone.
Do you recall who she might have been talking to, or names that she might have said, hey, Bob, or anything that she? You know, the first time you've ever seen her use?
To have two phones together, but like I said, they have the exact same case as the other one, so I wouldn't
You would have
have
known.
noticed, you know.
Had she ever contacted you at another number that she didn't normally?
She may have, but I wouldn't have paid much attention. I get so many phone calls from like the office and stuff, like, I wouldn't have.
Your office phone, is that like a desk phone, or is that like a?
Well, we have an office phone that's like, that's what's at our office, but like I have it transferred to my phone.
Okay. But when she called you, she normally contacted you on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you keep records in your phone? Do you like commonly delete numbers that call you?
No, it's whatever is there. I think iPhones keep like 30 days or whatever of whatever's available.
In the past 30 days or longer, if we're able to pull more, do you think that she could have possibly contacted you from that other number?
It's possible.
Would you mind if we what's it called? Dump the phone?
Physically examine your phone.
Yeah.
This basically just dumps the phone, and we see the numbers that are calling. We don't look at anything. I don't know if that must be maybe embarrassing picture, but we're not worried about that.
Yeah, we're not sure about that.
All professionals. We're looking for one thing. We're trying to find Taylor. Is what we're trying to do.
Oh yeah, I don't mind.
You don't mind?
No.
Okay, let me get you. We just got to sign a form that you don't mind. Is it password protected?
No. Yeah,
that way. The thing is, even if we can find someone that she contacted on that number, we can go back and get their call log, or see if they'll give it to us, of course, and then we can find this number and then possibly ping that number.
Oh, sure.
You know, because at this point we have no clue. We don't know if she's like had a mental breakdown and is like lost her rock, and just kind of blowing. She's got money on her. Who knows that she didn't plan on just maybe going and hanging out with another friend for a couple of days, and someone finds she has 20, 30 views on her, and was like, hey, I like that now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a mind to tote around for anyone.
I'm sure. I mean, it's okay, the whole thing.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. We'd like to figure out where this other phone is, because apparently you were the only one who's ever seen that other phone.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I would have noticed if she was using that one or the other.
Sure.
And, you know, I don't know if that stems from when all this happened with Kat. Taylor has always had like a fingerprint thing and a code in her phone.
Mm-hmm.
She let Kat put her fingerprints and stuff in her phone and gave her the codes to her phone.
She can access it with her own
Right.
fingerprint. Obviously on the one phone.
Right. And so I don't know if that's why the other phone popped. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, and what kind of phone was it? Either one of the phones that she had?
I think it was an iPhone, because I think the messages that,
They come across as iMessages?
I think so, let me check. Do you know if I can,
Yes,
is it blue that is,
I think blue is iMessage.
I think it is
Yeah, you
blue.
might say iMessage on blue, and if it was out of the green as a text message, I think.
Yes, I think green is text, blue is iMessage. Yes, blue is iMessage.
Blue is iMessage, okay, then yes, it's an iPhone.
Right. Yeah, this just saying you allow us to basically download your phone. That is done voluntarily. And we're not forcing you to give us your phone.
Oh, sure.
Is it busy woman?
Oh, they're ridiculous.
Are you one of those people that keep up with their phone and delete it regularly, or are you like me where you just go in there every so often, delete everything, and then...
I don't delete a whole lot. If it's just junk, like something that, like, I don't really need or whatever, you know, then...
I'll wait for my phone to get maxed out and say, you can't take a picture, you gotta delete some shit. And then I'll just delete everything.
Yeah, but like, if it's just somebody that's randomly contacted me or whatever, and I don't, but most of my like friends, you know.
And when we don't delete anything.
No, we're not gonna go messing with stuff. So,
right there, say the word, you can give us permission to look into the phone.
Okay.
And I'll go start that, and hopefully it'll be done by the time we're finished talking.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, if her phone could have died one day, and she needs to call you, she could use that as a phone. And all we need is one phone call. And that would be perfect. You know, we can get confirmed service, and at this point, girl, we have more leads to follow than we can.
Oh, I'm sure.
So, where are we at? Well, after brunch, when y'all had made contact again?
I don't know, she asked me to, you know, go to the shop and stuff, and we were looking at where she was gonna store the rest of her stuff and all that, so.
Was that the day that y'all were together the last day that you saw her?
There was a couple instances for that, but we did go by there that day as well.
Okay, I know I did this with you over the phone, but just like I said, official purpose. The last day that you saw her was what day?
On Friday.
That's okay. Friday would be the 15th or the 8th? Or the 1st?
I guess the 8th, I don't know.
Probably.
Whatever, I think it's the 8th.
I've been here the whole time.
The days run together. It was in whatever.
So the 8th of September, last day you saw her. And about what time?
The last time I saw her was about 4:30. Between 4.
p.m.
Yeah.
And where was that at?
My house.
Your house is just for
3961 Rain Tree Drive.
3961 Rain Tree. So last seen on the edge, approximately 4:30 on Rain Tree. Who was there at that address when y'all returned?
I was. Zach was. But she didn't have any ride.
I just pulled up in the... Okay, so let's start that day from the beginning. At approximately what time?
We can
So we'll say about... And what happened at that time?
I went to Cass's house there, or Taylor's or whatever.
Their house over Berkeley?
Right.
Okay. You went there, was Cass there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, did Cass leave before y'all, or did y'all leave at the same time?
Cass was still there when we left.
Cass was still there when y'all left. Are you sure she was still there when y'all pulled out?
100%, I think so.
Okay. Okay. What were you driving that day?
Oh, my husband's F-250.
That big silver monster truck out there in the driveway? Okay. Driving the silver monster truck. Was anyone else with you when you picked her up?
No.
Okay. From there, where did you go?
We went to my office.
Now, did you just like pull up out front and she came and hopped in, or did y'all hang out for a little bit?
We were there for a little while because they were moving some things into the box truck that was there.
Okay. She and Cass was moving stuff in the box truck.
And it was supposedly the last of, they were going through some trash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of that. And Cass was like a cardboard, and there were like boxes lined up on the right hand side of the cardboard. And when I got there, they were going through that. But I think it was just stuff that was to be thrown away.
I mean, did Cass hang out there for a little bit too? Y'all hung out together?
We didn't, I don't think we ever went inside. We just stood there with all the, because the back of the truck was through that, you know. And Cass was eager to get the box truck and all that out of the way because I think one of her roommates was just finally getting everything of hers out. Because Cass had 2 roommates initially.
Mm-hmm.
And one left. So man, I think Chris stayed. And then the current roommate still. And then the other girl was leaving. I think that's why they were finally just getting everything. And I think it's what took so long to get the stuff in and out of the truck or whatever she was doing. I don't know. Cass said that she was struggling with what she should throw away, what she should keep, what they're going to have there. Just
to your knowledge, the old roommate, was that a roommate or was that someone that Cass was dating?
My understanding was that it was just a roommate. But
do you think it's possible, or of course anything's possible, but
anything's possible with this situation. It may be, I got the impression she was a long-term roommate though. And she had lived there maybe a couple of years. I don't know. I probably, before the move stuff, I'd probably only been to that house once or twice. Once was to drop off Drake. And another time, Taylor called me to come look at some court papers that she was doing. And that was kind of during the move stuff because she was talking about the issues she was having with Ambra. Which I think Ambra still has her TV, and that's been some sort of problem with
and Ambra's on that long.
Yeah.
Okay. So you wouldn't address, we're not sure if the old roommate was in a relationship or was it in fact just a roommate. It was a female.
It was female.
Did you ever meet her?
One time, I think the night that I dropped Taylor's son off to Cass, she was there doing some work. I think she, was a graduate student of some sort, and she was sitting at a table, like, typing on a computer.
Okay. Now, obviously, with the minimal interaction, unlikely you could draw a conclusion, but did she seem like someone would ever have any intent to harm Taylor for any reason?
No, she was very quiet. I mean, she may have said hi or whatever. She was very quiet.
Okay. So you went there, y'all were moving boxes into a truck. Cassandra, y'all left. Did y'all leave in the box truck as well?
No.
So the box truck stayed?
The box truck stayed. So the box truck was there until after all the situation with Taylor occurred. I ended up having to go pick up somebody from my office, bring them there so that they could drive, because I can't drive the truck.
I'm
not that kind of sick shit. Bring somebody there to get the truck and then bring it back to my office.
Okay.
And I don't know if Taylor took it to Destin that day or not, the day before.
Was that the day that
I supposedly went with her.
You allegedly went with her?
Right.
for whatever reason that
Yeah.
you were heading to that day.
Exactly.
So y'all left there and where did y'all go?
We went from Cass's house to my office.
Cass's house. So Berkeley to office. Do you recall what route you took or any major road you may have gone down?
Probably went down, we went out to Davis and down.
Okay. Allen Davis and then down and maybe
Fairfield.
and then it's working Saturday. You went Berkeley to Davis, obviously south, to Fairfield, to Pace. And your office is located at what address?
2414 was this one there.
2416?
14.
2414 Pace. And what's the name of the office or business?
Pensacola Automatic Movement.
And how long were y'all there? And what did y'all do?
We went into the warehouse. We were talking to one of the guys that was there. We had had a fire there, and so she was looking around for that and at the different things that we were talking about and the different equipment, because she was talking about needing something for somebody. She was gonna, some friend of hers was gonna open up a bar, and so we looked at a couple pool tables and things like that. And then she had to store some of her stuff, and so she was just seeing where we were going to put it, because she didn't want to have to go rent another storage unit, because she had been, I guess, paying for this one with Amber or whatever. And I was like, well, you can stick it here, you know. Whatever. Because we have plenty of space in there. And
do you recall the employee's name that was there?
James.
So James was there. You know James' last name?
Hold on. I do know it, but like you asked me and then I'm like, draw a blank. Hayes.
Hayes?
Yes.
James
Sorry.
Hayes. White male, black male?
White male.
White male. He worked for you?
He's actually homeless, but he does work for me.
That's cool. You got a homeless gentleman? Works.
He stays there at the office and we have space.
Cheap security.
It really is, and he's a good person and try to help him, you know what I mean? But he's been homeless for like 12 years and he just has an alcohol issue that sometimes is problematic for him. But
Hey?
well, recently he's gotten off the alcohol, he worked, and he built my deck.
Oh yeah? It looked good.
Yeah, he built the deck, and we, of course, paid him to build the deck. He's been doing work for other people or whatever, and he saved up enough money back in April to take a trip to the Philippines for 25 days.
Really?
Yeah, he met some girl in line, wanted to go visit her.
Was it a girl?
Mm-hmm. And he saved up enough money to go over there for like 25 days.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So he just, kind of needed the chance or whatever, and so.
I'm not knocking it. That's good. And did good work.
Yeah, he really
Worked so good.
You can see there was a deck.
Yeah, I mean, he roofed it, he did the whole deck and
It was
everything.
big.
Yeah.
Some monster dogs. So, pretty sturdy.
Yeah, but he did every bit of it by himself, no helpers. He did everything. And he's quite a good worker, so very useful for him.
So y'all went there to the office. What was your purpose for going there?
She just wanted to see if we had enough space for her to put what all she needed to put there.
A couple boxes?
Yeah, the couple, exactly. Because I think Cass was pretty annoyed by the truck still being there and the amount of stuff. Because I don't think Cass was aware of how much it was. Because the day that we brought the box truck initially, the day that I helped her move, I was driving my Jeep and James had brought the truck there for them. And when I pulled up, they had to open the back of the box truck and Cass had just got home from work, and Taylor's standing there, and I'm like, what? And she's looking at me like, and I'm like, what's the matter? And she's like, telling Cass, don't panic, it's not all staying, because, I mean, literally, we filled that truck up, and what she had told me, and I guess what she had told Cass was just a couple boxes, you know? And so when they finally opened up the truck, Cass is like, have you seen this place in my house? You know, how are we going to do this? Because she still does have the other roommate, you know, as well, that's staying. And I think they're planning on selling that house too.
Yeah, so she can't have storage.
Yeah, it's not like they have rooms and rooms to store stuff in.
I mean, they have quite a bit of furniture there as it is. I mean, it's well kept, you know, it's pretty organized, so I can't imagine how I feel with trying to sell a house and then trying to move in, you know, 600 square foot worth of boxes. So, but, so you were there for about how long?
Maybe an hour or so. Well, she was looking for that, pretty much thinking about things that, you know.
I see, I'm noting it's 3855 according to, just so that we have a reference. And then the top number, I don't know if it meant anything. It was like 801 or something. It doesn't mean anything. Okay. 3855. All right. All right, folks. I've tried 362 jury trials as a judge, and do you know who my favorite jury is? Right. Okay, I was dangling the carrot. Here it comes. All right, y'all are going to leave tonight. Leave your notepads, pencils. You know not to watch WEAR as far as any news, or Channel 5 for news, or try to get any streaming information. If somebody inadvertently sends you a text with like a picture of the trial, you have to ignore it. Don't talk to family members, friends. Don't let anybody talk to you. You know all this. I want to get you out of here. But I want to talk about tomorrow, and it's choking me up to talk about it. Do you think that if you had a hearty breakfast, which I will not prepare, and if we ate a later lunch, that you could go as late as 6 or 6:30 tomorrow night? I know. But I know how much I got over here to get through. But if anybody can't, I'm not going to make you. I'm not going to do that. So let's start with 6. We go to 6. All right. Now, if I promise you'll walk out of this room no later than 6:30, does that cause a problem? It's okay if it only causes a problem for one person. It doesn't matter. I won't do it. A few of you just looking at me like you wish I'd say something else. But if it would cause a problem, please don't hesitate, and I'm not going to be upset because you guys have been awesome. Everybody in reluctantly? So eat a good breakfast. We've got 2 hours of video to knock out right away when we start. We're going to start, I think they're going to ask you to report like you did today, 8:30 or 8:25. Everybody did great this morning. Report. And we're going to start about 8:45, 8:50-ish from our perspective. We got to knock about 2 hours out of the video, and we got a lot of other things along that line tomorrow. And we're going to just work through it, okay? And then we'll do a later lunch, like 12:30 or 12:45. You'll get a snack break in the morning, and that way the afternoon will be broken up a little more. Okay. I said you're my favorite jury. Who's your favorite judge? All right, you are. All right, good night, everybody. No, don't you go anywhere. If you want to get down, but Bridget may need you. All right, I've just been looking at this, and here's my question. If this detective takes most of tomorrow, that would leave everything else for Thursday. Do you think we'll get past just this detective tomorrow, Ms. Jensen? I understand you're not in charge of cross-examination.
Yes, and Judge, I feel like perhaps, and I'll talk to the Barossets, but there are 3 phone conversations that I don't necessarily have to publish. I mean, I can have Detective Ghigliotty summarize those phone calls, and then I can move them into evidence and not publish them, and then if the jury wants to listen to them, they certainly can. But I just would need the agreement of the Barossets, but that would save about an hour of publishing, phone conversations if they will allow, I know the old best evidence objection and all that, but if they will allow Detective Ghigliotty to just kind of summarize those conversations, then I would have to play an hour's worth of phone calls.
I just encourage you, you have to prosecute the case the way you see best. The defense has to defend the case the way they see best. We made a commitment. And like I said, if we can't abide by that commitment, which I'm really going to be disturbed if we cannot, when they're being such good sports about it. But we have more than just a problem with it being Labor Day weekend, and it's going to have a major impact. So I encourage y'all to see if there are areas that you can streamline so that, they are now staying to 6 or 6:30 tomorrow night and giving me a half-hearted smile about it. So, and then Thursday night, we're just going to have to take it one day at a time. But anything that y'all can do to streamline it, now that we know how long it is taking, is appreciated. Let's plan on us meeting at 8:45. I assume that if I didn't have a dentist appointment at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, we could meet earlier than that, but I've got to get out of the chair to get here. So let's plan on meeting at 8:45. I assume we won't have much to talk about initially. We can just jump into the video because it's got a long way to go. And at some point, we can kind of get a feeling on it. Does that sound like a plan, Mr. Barry Barosset?
That sounds good, Your Honor.
Mr. John Barosset?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. McArthur, you with me? All right, then I will see y'all. Thank y'all tonight. We're going to open the courtroom for technology people at 8:15 tomorrow. Thank y'all.